Our lecturer for today is Jasfer E. Ventura, graduate of the University of the Philippines, BS Education, major in Mathematics, minor in Physics, Teacher 2 at Jose Abad Santos High School, and Lecturer 2 at Universidad de Manila.
Okay, so in this video, we will be learning about differentiation rules. Meron talagang mga rules na ini-involve yung ating mga derivatives. And para mas ma-entice kayo or mas ma-excite kayo sa magiging discussion natin, ito actually yung shortcut way. The shorter way for you to be able to determine your derivatives. Kasi 'di ba, previously nag-derive tayo, kinuha natin yung mga derivatives ng functions natin using the limit definition. So ngayon, gagamit na tayo ng rules para mas mabilis natin makukuha yung derivatives. And the first rule is the constant rule. At ano ba yung constant rule? Let's say you're given the function f of x equals k. At ano yung k dito? K is a constant, a number, or any value na hindi nagbabago syempre yung value niya. Then, ang magiging derivative ng function mo will just be equal to 0. And I mean, equal sa 0, yung number na 0 talaga. For example, let's say your f of x is equal to 10. Ang 10 obviously is a constant. And bakit nga pala constant yan? Kasi wala naman nakadikit na variable x sa kanya or x squared man or square root of x. So therefore, magagamit natin yung constant rule. Ano ang constant rule? Kapag kinuha natin yung derivative ng f of x, so ano ba ang itsura ng derivative? Di ba? F prime of x. This one is just equal to 0. Kasi nga, constant yung 10 natin. Now, let's look at the second example. Your h of x is equal to negative square root of 3. Hindi rin magbabago ang value nito, constant pa rin to. Pwede mo nga laging isipin pag sinabi natin constant, you don't see the variable x there. So, kung kukunin natin yung derivative nito, this will just be equal to 0 also. Same thing with our third example. If g of x is equal to 5 pi, is this a constant value? O naman, hindi naman nagbabago yung value ng pi natin. That's may estimate naman tayo, pero it would be better na isinusulat natin yung pi as pi itself na lang. Kasi nga, infinite yung decimal places ng pi. So, since this is a constant value, g prime of x or the derivative of g of x is just also equal to 0. So, for our second rule, ito yung tinatawag nating power rule na kung saan, ito madalas nating magagamit to, especially kapag ang ating functions involve yung mga tinatawag nating mga algebraic expressions, yung mga polynomial expressions natin. So, let's say your function is given by f of x equals x raised to n, na kung saan yung n na yan, any power. Bahala. It can be negative, positive, or whatnot na number. Then, to get the derivative of f of x, ano lang gagawin natin? Yung exponent mo, ibaba mo siya as your coefficient. And then, yung panibagong exponent ng ating x would just be your original n na exponent minus 1. And para mas ma-gets nyo yun, may example na kagad tayo dito sa harapan natin. So let's say, your first function f of x is given by x cubed. Anong gagawin natin? Sabi nga, yung exponent mo na orig, gawin mo na siyang coefficient. So ibaba natin si 3, so magiging 3, nandito na siya sa baba as your numerical coefficient, and then write your variable x, and your new exponent will be the original, just subtract 1 from your original exponent. Ano yung susunod na gagawin? I-simplify na lang natin yung expression natin. So this is just equal to 3. Ano ba ang 3 minus 1? So 2 na lang yun. Therefore, f of x equals x cubed. At ano ang derivative niya? The derivative of f of x is just 3x squared. Okay? So, let's look at our second example. Our f of x here is x raised to 5, x raised to the 5th power. Anong gagawin natin para makuha natin yung derivative niya? First step, baba mo yung exponent niya as its new numerical coefficient. Si 5, ibababa natin dito sa tabi niya. And then, x raised to 5 minus 1. Simplifying, this is just 5 times x raised to, ano ba yung 5 minus 1? That's just 4. And are we done? Opo. We now have our derivative. Ang derivative ng x raised to 5 ay 5x raised to 4. For our last example, para dito sa rule na to, let's say your f of x is equal to x raised to 1/2. Anong gagawin natin? First step, ibaba natin si 1/2 as your coefficient. So, 1/2. And then, write your x. Yun nga lang, si 1/2 na original niyang exponent, mag-subtract tayo doon ng 1. Yun nga lang, hindi ganun kasimple to kasi we need to simplify this further. So, let's write your coefficient na 1/2. And ano ba ang 1/2 minus 1? That would be negative 1/2. So, this becomes x raised to negative 1/2. Paano tayo nagsisimplify? Paano natin inaalis yung exponent na negative? Di ba? Napupunta lang siya sa denominator, magre-reciprocate lang tayo. So therefore, this is just equal to 1/2 times 1 all over x raised to 1/2. Kaya nga nawala na yung negative sign niya dito kasi napunta na siya doon sa denominator. Nakapag-reciprocate na tayo. And simplifying everything, yung taas natin would be 1 times 1. That's just 1 all over 2 times. Ibalik na lang natin si x raised to 1/2 sa pagiging radical niya kasi we can actually rewrite this as square root of x. So therefore, the derivative of x raised to 1/2 is just 1 all over 2 times square root of x. So for our third rule, we call this rule the constant multiple rule. So if you remember your limit law, kahawig niya to na kung saan, if you're given any function na equal sa a constant, so this k here is a constant value or numerical coefficient times f of x, to get the derivative of f of x, that would just be equal to the constant times the derivative of your function. So para mas magets natin yun, may example na kagad tayo dito. Let's say your function f of x is given by 4x raised to 6 and we're trying to find the derivative of f of x. Anong gagawin natin dito? Since meron siyang constant na multiple dito, yung numerical coefficient ni x raised to 6, pwede nating i-separate yun and then multiply the derivative of our x raised to 6. Take note, ang ibig sabihin ng capital letter D is just the derivative, di ba? So, simplifying everything, this is just 4. What is the derivative of x raised to 6? Di ba meron tayong power rule na diniscuss kanina lang na kung saan ibababa natin tong 6 as a coefficient and then x raised to yung 6 na original niyang exponent minus 1. Close parenthesis. So this is just equal to 4 times 6. What is 6 minus 1? That's just 5. So x raised to 5 na yung literal term natin. So this is just 4 times 6 is just 24. And then kopyahin yung x raised to 5. There you have it. Meron ka ng derivative ng ating 4x raised to 6 which is 24x raised to 5. Now, let's go to our second example. Anong gagawin dito? Same thing with what we did doon sa ating number 1. So, to get your derivative, yung f prime of x natin, this is just equal to, si negative 2, since siya yung constant multiple, kopyahin mo yan, times the derivative of x raised to 7 equals negative 2, sulat mo dito. I-multiply natin yan sa derivative dito. And if you remember your power rule, di ba? Pwede natin gamitan ng power rule to. So therefore, baba si 7 sa tabi. 7 times x raised to 7 minus 1. And then simplifying, this is just negative 2 times 7. X raised to 7 minus 1 is just 6. So x raised to 6 to. Anong gagawin na lang na natitira? Si negative 2 times negative 7, that would be negative 14 times x raised to 6. So there you have it din. Meron ka ng derivative ng ating negative 2x raised to 7. So for our last rule na i-discuss in this lesson, and definitely hindi ito yung huli kasi magkakaroon pa tayo ng upcoming lessons na kung saan hindi lang naman natatapos dito sa pang-apat na rule na to. So, ano ba itong pang-apat? We call this the sum rule. And what do we mean by the sum rule? If we're trying to get the derivative of a certain complex expression or function na given, let's say, in this example, generally, f of x plus g of x, parang, pwede naman nating ipamigay yung derivative. So, the derivative of the sum is just equal to the sum of each derivative natin. And mas maintindihan nyo using this example. Let's say, we're trying to find the derivative of x to the fourth plus 4x squared. And, syempre, dito magagamit natin yung sum rule na yun, na kung saan, to do this, this is just equal to the derivative of x raised to 4 plus the derivative of 4x squared. Diba? Pinamigay natin yung derivative sa kanilang dalawa. So, gawin na natin. The derivative of x raised to 4, anong rule ang gagamitin natin dyan? The power rule. Na kung saan, ibababa natin si 4 x raised to 4 minus 1. Alam ko, kayang-kaya nyo ng i-mental yun. 4 minus 1 is just 3. So, the derivative of x to the fourth is 4x cubed plus the derivative of 4x squared. So, may constant multiple dito. Kopyahin na lang natin. Times the derivative of x squared. Furthermore, we have 4x cubed plus 4. Ano ang derivative ng x squared? Di ba? Power rule din ang gagamitin. Baba si 2. You have 2 there. And then x raised to 2 minus 1 is just 1. Hindi na natin susulat yung 1 as an exponent. So therefore, simplifying the whole expression, we'll have 4x cubed plus 4 times 2x is just 8x. And meron na tayong derivative ng ating x to the fourth plus 4x squared. Now, let's have another example na kung saan magagamit natin tong sum rule na to. Let's say, we're trying to find the derivative of 2x raised to 5 minus 5x cubed. And, syempre, gamitin natin yung sum rule dito. So, this is just equal to the derivative of 2x raised to 5th minus, dapat nga plus ito, tama, kasi nga sum rule plus the derivative of negative 5x cubed. And then, evaluating yung derivative natin. What is the derivative of 2x raised to 5? Pagsabayin na natin na gamitin yung power rule natin at yung constant multiple rule. Later on, masasanay naman kayo na ginagamit na sila ng sabay. So, we'll have 2 times, ang derivative ng x raised to 5 is just 5 times x raised to 4 using your power rule plus negative 5 times derivative ng ating x cubed, that would be 3x squared using your power rule. And then, simplifying, you'll have 10 x raised to 4 plus negative 15 x squared. And pwede naman nating iayos to na isang operation na lang siya. This will become 10x raised to 4 minus 15x squared. And there you go. Meron ka ng derivative ng expression na 2x squared minus 5x cubed. So now, alam na natin yung first 4 rules na ginagamit natin when we are differentiating our functions. The first one is the constant rule na kung saan if we're getting the derivative of any constant function, that would always be equal to 0. The second one is our power rule, wherein if we're getting the derivative of something na nasa form na x raised to n, that would just be equal to n times x raised to n minus 1. The third rule is our constant multiple rule na kung saan parang fina-factor out lang natin yung constant coefficient ng ating dinidifferentiate na function. And the last one, the sum rule, wherein if we're trying to get the derivative of two functions na ina-add natin, let's say f of x plus g of x, that would just be equal to the derivative of f of x plus the derivative of g of x. For our next lesson, syempre, sa kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, hindi natatapos kay sum rule yung ating discussion. We will be discussing next the rule for the products. So, product rule naman tayo sa susunod.
Hi! Kung sa tingin ninyo kami nakakatulong sa inyong pag-aaral bilang estudyante at kung kami nakakatulong sa inyo bilang mga magulang at mga guro, please do subscribe to our channel. We wanted to reach as many as possible. And in exchange, we will commit ourselves, our time, and little resources to create more videos na makatutulong para sa kinabukasan at maayos at mabisang pag-aral ng bawat estudyante sa ating bansa.